Hello. Now let's talk about this question. Have you ever felt frustrated or unsure of what to do if your child is not retaining their multiplication facts? Right? So you have tried everything that you know to do. You've gone by your curriculum. Maybe you've pulled in flashcards. Maybe you've tried games. Maybe you've tried all kinds of different things, and you're just not finding what really makes those multiplication facts stick. So let's take a look at my top four strategies that might help your child. Now, these are not the only four strategies that I use with any of my students. These are just my top four, right? Okay, first one, skip counting. Now, this could be just skip counting 3, 6, 9, 12, so on, right? It could be if you're, excuse me, if your child retains songs and does very well with music, there are lots of songs out there, right? They can even make their own song to their own tune using the skip counting in place of the lyrics. This is really, really helpful. I do recommend that if you were to search online for things like this, that you find the videos that have not a lot of wording with it, right? So it's the music or the tune with just the numbers skip counting, right? It can be repetitive, no worries. But when we start adding all those other words on top of it, it just starts to become mush in their head. Now, I'm not saying that it wouldn't work for your child. Don't take it that way. Just saying that the simpler that it is, better. All right. Number two, let's take a look at patterns. Now, with patterns, this is kind of fun. So when you're multiplying by 2, 4, or 8, there's a pattern in that. When you're multiplying by 3 and 6, there's a pattern in that. When you're multiplying by 9, there's a pattern. Any group of 10, 10, 20, 30, so on, there's a pattern. 11, 12, 15, I could go on. So there's patterns when we multiply by these numbers. Some students, let me stress this, catch on to patterns by sight or just by recognition. That's the same thing, right? Some students don't, and some take a little bit longer and then they begin to see it as they work through it. Don't feel like this might be the only way that your student can grasp this. So let me show you what I mean. I'm actually going to show you two strategies here. So let's say we are working with patterns. Let's say that we're working with counting by threes. Um, so one strategy that you can do is to write them in groups of excuse me, I almost said 15, in groups of 5, right? And see if they notice patterns. Now, this one might not be a great one. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Should have wrote this one instead. So we write the first 5, and then you can go to the second 5 and see if they notice anything from the top row to the bottom row. Like I said, some students will and some won't. No, this isn't the only way to write it. This is just one strategy. A lot of students prefer to write theirs or vertically, which is completely fine also. So it might look like, right? So they can write it, and if they prefer horizontal, that's fine too. Like there's nothing against horizontal. I've just tried to find out what the majority of my students prefer, and I've noticed some write them horizontally, and some prefer the vertical, and some prefer the two groups of 5. Okay, now let me show you another strategy that I've noticed some students doing. Let's say we have 7 times 3. All right. Some students, they realize that that is 3 groups of 7. Okay, so I'm going to write it like this. This is not how you have to do it. There's multiple ways, just like with all of math, multiple ways to do these things. So they notice that they can take 3 away from this group, leaving it with 4, and add it here. So now they have a group of 10. And then they see that they've got 7 plus 4. Now, maybe they already know that that's 11, but maybe they want to do groups of 10. That's one of the strategies I was thinking of with grouping. So they pull 6 away, right? And now they have 21. Now, this might be something they do mentally. This might be something they do on paper. If your child, this kind of brings in all of our last 3 strategies. So this would be what I would refer to as grouping, and they don't have to necessarily do it this way. Okay, this is just one thing I've seen some students do. They are very good with their addition and subtraction skills. So they're particularly strong with grouping to make groups of 10, right? 6 and 4, 5 and 5, 7 and 3, so on, right? So if their mental math with adding and subtracting is really strong, they might prefer this. They might be able to go, oh, I know that 6 times 5 is 30. So if I want to find 6 times 4, that means I need to subtract a group of 6, and that'll get me my answer. And they might do that all mentally, which is fantastic, right? There's nothing wrong with this. So 3 strategies kind of like all crammed into one. So let's go over all the strategies. So we have skip counting, however they prefer it, write it, sing it, whatever they might have. Strategy number 2 is noticing patterns, right? 2, 4, and 8, 3 and 6, 9, 10, any amount of groups of 10, 11, 12, 15, and there's more. Also, you've got the mental math strategy, which is them being able to calculate with addition and subtraction mentally because they're really strong with that. Also, you have the grouping strategy, which is like I just showed you, where they know groups of 10 and they can pull apart or organize groups of 10 with whatever they're given. Now, is this always going to be the strategy that they would use, let's say with the grouping? No, they might find that maybe multiplying by 6, they can very easily make groups of 10. So they might use that grouping strategy for maybe multiplying by 6 or 7 or something, right? Maybe there's another strategy that they use for multiplying by a couple of different numbers. It's okay, right? They don't have to, it doesn't have to be one and done, right? The same strategy for all of them. Allow them to explore. Give them the opportunity to find what works best. If you have more questions and you want to ask, feel free to do so. I love helping parents and students grasp the concept of multiplication because it's one of those foundations that has to be really strong in order for you to continue with math and build from that foundation. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.